How will the US election work in 2020 in a year when the pandemic is still going on? How does voting work with stay-at-home orders this year? And will mail-in voting work? In today's video, we will take a look at what is different in this year's election. Alright, so the US election has seen quite a few changes this year. The pandemic and stay-at-home orders have made sure that the normal process has been somewhat hindered this year. So by now, I'm sure that you're aware that Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party. The only reason you're still seeing Bernie Sanders on the ballot is that Joe Biden has not yet officially been nominated, which will only happen at the Democratic Convention in August. So it looks like, unless something drastic happens to either candidate, that it will be a contest between President Donald Trump and Vice President Joe Biden. The DNC, or Democratic National Committee, has chosen to postpone its convention until August instead of July, where they will pick their nominee. The reason that they're doing this is because of obviously the coronavirus, and it's 1 week after the RNC will meet up, have the convention, and pick their nominee. Since both the DNC and the RNC chose to postpone their conventions, there were rumors that the election itself might also be postponed. This Theguardian article briefly talks about it. Could the election be carried out by vote by mail? We're in completely uncharted waters here, and I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen. Monica McDermott, a political science professor at Fordham University in New York, recently told The Guardian. By November, the picture might be completely unrecognizable. We don't even know if the election is going to happen as scheduled. There's talks out there about postponing it or changing it to a mail-in only election. Now, the US is hit really hard by the pandemic, and she is right in saying that there were rumors out there about postponing the election. However, even if President Trump wanted to do this, he couldn't do it by himself. He would still need Congress to pass the law, and then he would sign it into effect himself. But right now, that option is not really on the table, as states are finding solutions to hold a fair vote. And so one way this election could be different is mail-in voting. And by the way, since we will see an increase in mail-in voting, expect not to see the results as quickly as you're used to on election night. A lot of people voting are the elderly, and they are the most exposed group with the coronavirus. If the stay-at-home orders are still in effect in November, you can expect to see a dramatic increase in mail-in voting numbers. So in preparation for this, the US is setting up an improved mail-in voting system. But it could have a chilling effect while Trump is ramping up attacks on mail-in voting. President Trump has made a few tweets about how in the past some states had some of these mail-in votes disappeared. His fears are that Democrats will either disappear votes that were for him or even completely change them for the Democrats. So of course the Democrats are saying that Trump is fear-mongering, which is half true and half false. The whole truth is that there is evidence that both parties have tampered with mail-in votes in the past. Nevertheless, the new system will see most states automatically send out these mail-in votes to eligible voters. Those are the two major effects that the pandemic has had so far on the election in 2020. It has pushed out the two conventions so that the nominees of the different parties will be picked a little later this year, and you will see that the mail-in votes are gonna dominate this year's votes. So it's really shaping up to be a very close election in November. The recent riots all over the US have made sure that the two candidates are very close in the betting market. And in this Real Clear Politics average opinion polls, you'll see that Joe Biden is ahead by 6 points to Donald Trump's 42.6. Now that seems like a lot, but remember that the US election isn't won by the popular vote, it's won by getting 270 delegates in the Electoral College system. That was my roundup of the recent news about the 2020 election. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to subscribe to my channel. Oh, and also remember, whether you like orange people or lifelong politicians who say the right words, voting matters.